hello there, my dear friend. I hope that you are doing very, very well tonight. My name is Ira. This is Blind Dad Does, and I want to welcome you once again to what will probably be a little bit of a weird thing, more than likely. But anyways, now you can see my beautiful face for whatever that's worth. Anyways, welcome to the stream. I am sorry that I am on as late as I am. Like, I was supposed to start like a little while ago, but I'll tell you what, we have had one heck of a day with the internet today. It has been wild. It has been nasty. Hello, Ollie. To see you. We've had a rainstorm hit us today, and can you guys let me know if the sound is okay? Because I've been dealing a little bit with trying to get everything functioning again. I had to install some new RAM today, and good, sounds good. Okay, great, thank you. I appreciate it, because I'm a little thrown off tonight, but yeah, we're gonna kind of talk about whatever tonight. Again, this is gonna be a ask me anything or a random topic or whatever comes to you guys' mind. I kind of wanted to go into a little bit of the mental health stuff again, just because, you know, I like to be a space where that kind of thing is available for people. So, you know, if you guys want to discuss that kind of a thing, that would be great too. I am trying to get my music to start, and for some reason it is not letting me. Give me one moment here. I'm sorry. It keeps popping up with unrecoverable error code, and I'm not sure what that means, but well, we'll get something figured out here for the music for you guys to enjoy. Anyway, so how's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to know. Ollie, it's nice to see you. How you doing today over there? You doing well? Everything going great for you? Hopefully. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second. I need to have a little bit of music in my ears. This might be good here. And I can't control it. It's uncontrollable. Trying to draw your ugly mug, huh? So how are you managing that? What are you attempting to do tonight? There we go. Now I've got it on the right thing. There we go. Now we got a little bit of music going. Drawing yourself. Maybe for a new PFP. So what's a PFP? Just out of curiosity, what's a PFP for you? So anyways, we had quite a bit of problems today with the internet. We had a rainstorm come in, and unfortunately we live kind of rural, and I think that it messed everybody up. It not only affected us, but it was sort of everywhere around us. Had a very greatly diminished internet speed. Normally I get anywhere between 800 and 900 megabits per second download speed, and I was at 50, 80. My upload speed is usually like 35, 40 megabits per second, and it was 2. So like impossible to stream. Completely impossible. Profile pictures, gotcha. Okay, well, you kids and your fancy acronyms, I don't know. It could be some kind of weird thing, and we're all about weird things tonight, right? So anyways, yeah, I think everything is like back in place now as far as the internet is concerned. It seems to be working well, and I'm not getting diminished speeds or anything like that I can tell. It doesn't seem to be buffering or anything like that on me, and if you guys could let me know if it is doing something like that, again, I would deeply appreciate it. So we are live and in person, and just kind of like gabbing about whatever. Last night we had a lot of people in having a really nice conversation about different mental health stuff, and trying to figure out ways to help people out. And yeah, so how's your mental health today, Ollie? Mine's been pretty good. Like overall, it's been pretty decent.
It's so fabulous.
But I've had some frustrations with the internet thing. You know, I had to call them multiple times today, and I hate calling any kind of tech support because, you know, you're always going to talk to somebody that has no no real clue about what you're going through, and as a streamer, I've got to have that connection. It's really essential. And so they were telling me, well, we can have somebody, like, we can escalate it to the supervisor or the superior technicians, and they can come out and maybe replace the modem or do something about it. But the soonest that we can have them come out is next Wednesday. Really? That's acceptable to have us be basically down for a week? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. But especially when we had the technician out 2 days ago. Like, just 2 days ago is the last time they came out. So, you would think maybe they'd get right on helping this customer that's got these issues that are ongoing. But no, apparently we take a low priority with things. You hung out with bees today. Okay, well, that's good, I think. Is that good? I think so. Depending on what the bees are doing, I guess. If they're stinging you and stuff, then no, but you are one with bees. Gotcha. Well, that's good then. If you got to hang out with your creatures, your friends, then that's a very good thing. I'm glad that you were able to do that. Hopefully it made you feel some better. That is always a nice thing. I think this increased RAM is actually doing some good in this system, because I'm noticing a lot less CPU usage since installing it compared to like yesterday, for instance. It's definitely diminished down. That is a good thing. I like that. The good buzz, yeah. Buzza. So anyways, mental health wise, I've been doing pretty good over the past couple of days. Although a little bit of frustration here and there. When you've got a lot of stuff going on and you're already sort of in that disabled category of things, it's difficult sometimes when you encounter those resistances that you normally would have no issues dealing with. But you kind of have those days once in a while where you're just not ready for it, not ready for trying to deal with it. What's the new thing that people talk about? It's like spoons. You have a certain amount of spoons per day that you can choose to deal with whatever it is that you've got going on. And so each different thing that you do has a different spoon sort of cost to it. I like that analogy, but I also like using the idea of because I'm a big fan of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons and all the role-playing games and all that kind of stuff. Mana is sort of the big thing. You have a certain amount of mana to deal with everything that you're going through, and everything costs a certain amount of mana. So my mana has been pretty reasonable over the past couple of days, thankfully. But given a few days ago, it was a little bit rougher. I had a bit of a rougher time period. But yeah, it's been pretty good. So I hope that everybody out there is having a really good day, and that you are doing things that are positive in your life, and being mindful of things that you can and can't do, the limitations that you might be going through at this moment in time. But either way, I am very grateful for those of you guys that are here with me in this moment in time, and I hope that it is worth your while being here. So thank you from the depths of my soul for being here. I had something happen earlier today that I had to laugh about, because I'm a writer, you don't want my crusty old soul. Well, too bad. You got it anyways. I'm a writer, and so I did this little thing for my wifeling, just to give her something to smile about, give her something to get a little treat about, so I wrote a little something, like a little love note for her, and she didn't take it like I wanted her to. So I wrote, "My dearest Jolene, I am writing to you from the edge of madness, the depths of which no human should endure. I am unsure if I shall make it. I must, however. I must. The fate of humanity lies within my palms, and though the burden weakens me, I fear no one else can carry the weight. This may be the last you hear of me. If so, know I go willingly, and with the thoughts of you in my mind and in my heart. Your love always, me. P.S. Nice butt. I don't think she appreciated it. Not as much as I wanted her to. See, I'm a little weird, right? I'm a little weird. But it's okay. That's where the fun is, right? That's where the fun is. You have to do these little things to make sure that the one that you love gets a laugh once in a while. You know, she was having a little bit of trouble in that moment in time, so I was trying to do something to make her smile. And she did. I mean, she gave me a laugh, but, you know. I don't know. I get weird. What can I say? I'm a weird person. I'm a weird guy, and that's what I do. That is what I do. So, anyways, yeah. Going back to mental health, obviously I'm in a weird mental health state, right? If I'm writing things like that, I'm kind of in a weird place, I guess. But it feels good to do that little bit of writing. It's been a little bit of time since I've been able to get myself to do something creative as far as writing goes. In fact, it's kind of been since Jolene had her surgery back in December, and I miss doing it. It's one of my favorite things to do, and it's one of my ways to have a catharsis, I guess, with how I'm feeling or the things that I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to see, I fixed my camera earlier, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. My camera's being a little bit weird, I guess, but, it kind of has a weird, color tone to it to me, but I don't know. Nice butt. Yes, indeed. Anyways, yeah, so it's been since December since I've been able to do any kind of real creative writing. And it's happened right around her surgery time. And I think a good portion of the reason why is because taking care of her and making sure that she was okay, really drained the energy away from me in a big way. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. You have to do what you have to do for the ones that you love. But now that she's recovering and getting better and we're seeing improvements every day, I'm kind of feeling that itch a little bit again to do the creative stuff. And that's probably part of the reason why I started doing the streaming again, was just to, I guess, give me an impetus, give me a push to start doing the creative kind of stuff again. And I'm glad for it because I do miss it. I crave it, and it's weird, but I do crave that creativity. Do you guys ever get that? I'm just curious if anybody else out there kind of experiences that, where if you don't do something creative, you almost feel guilty or drained because you're not being creative. Or is that just me? It might just be me. I don't know, but it is how it is, I guess. But anyways, so the you get that? Okay. Well, see, at least I know I'm not alone with it anyways.
Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you.
Indeed. So anyways, I think what I'm probably going to end up doing creatively is doing some more with my Serene Heart persona. So I have a couple of pen names. So the first one is Ira Robinson, and then that's my real name. Oh no, I just doxed myself. And then the other one would be Serene Heart, which is the kind of alter that writes more specifically in a certain way. So okay, I guess let me go into where Serene Heart comes from, and this might because I know some people out there experience things like alters and that kind of thing. And I'm kind of curious for those out there that do experience that kind of thing, if you're willing to talk about it, what you feel in regards to like what I'm about to say. So when I was growing up, my dad was very abusive, and he was up until the point that I reached about 8 or so years old. He was a whiskey drunk up until that point in time, and then he quit drinking. But the family that I came from with all of it was very toxic and unsupportive in every way. And so back during that period of time, I was showing like some like feminine attributes, you know, still very masculine, but like more feminine attributes, at least what they would consider feminine kind of things. And so when I was a teenager and I was starting to get into writing, starting to get into like Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games and that kind of stuff, one of the creations that came out of my mind was this character, Serene Heart, who, while it was a fiction, I associated myself with in a big way, because like all of the things that I wanted to do and be, she had. You know, she was very daring, very brave, very in your face kind of a thing, and also at the same time like full of like almost a childlike kind of awareness of things, you know, seeing through the BS that was around her and that kind of thing. And as the years have passed, even though I have been essentially male, showing some kind of, you know, feminine traits here and there, this Serene Heart has always been like in the back of my mind. So like all of the like video games that I would play and that kind of thing, I would do female characters primarily and name them Serene Heart and so on and so forth. And I would get really like close to them. And I know it sounds a little weird, but for those of you guys that have experienced video games and really gotten into them, I mean, I'm sure you guys can get what I'm saying there. You know, you can really care about that character in a big way. And so for a long time, that's how things were. But as I've gotten older and I've like done more as far as like the published writings and just writings in general and that sort of thing, what I've noticed is that if I'm writing with the perspective of like Serene Heart in my mind, the writing turns out considerably different than if my Ira Robinson persona writes it. It really, I mean, it sounds weird, okay, but it does happen, you know. It's just kind of one of those odd things that occurs with it. So what I've kind of ended up running into is that there's a world that I created called Center, and in this world is actually a city as well called Center that is sort of the biggest metropolis that exists within this world. Like everything goes into and comes out of Center. And Serene Heart, the persona, this character, owns a bar at the outskirts of this city called the Stumble Inn. And the stories all kind of wrap around almost a steampunk sort of a genre. But there's also like magic and creatures and ogres and orcs and you name it, basically. It's all kind of like mixed in there. So it's urban fantasy mixed with some steampunk motifs, I guess you could say. And so what I've found is that like my craving is to write more within that world, write more within that world, but to do it from that serene heart persona. And I want to like do audio stories and that kind of thing with them too. But the problem is that Serene Heart, as she stands in my imagination and in my world, is a female. Well, I'm not that, and I obviously have a very deep voice. I don't have a very feminine voice, right? So, what to do with that, I don't know. Whether or not I want to kind of like switch things around so that it's more masculine, but with the feminine traits that I'm looking at, or if I'm going to try to morph things around in other ways, or to do things in different ways. I don't know. But one of the things I want to do with these channels that I'm doing, because I am both on Twitch and YouTube, as Blind Dad does on both platforms, I want to do like maybe role-playing nights, like once a week or once a month or whatever the case may be, where I can bring this persona into what I'm doing here with the streaming creations, and have like fun with you guys as well, with kind of this whole role-playing scenario, and see what comes out of it. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? But also, what do you think with the this persona thing? Like, if you're willing to talk about it, I'd like to know your thoughts with it, because I'd like to know that I'm not alone with it. You know what I mean? Hey there, Tina. Welcome. It's so good to see you. I'm very blessed to have you here again. I'm grateful to see you. And I just actually got started here about a half hour ago or so. I got a late start tonight because a very late start tonight, unfortunately, because we didn't lose internet, but our internet was so slow that it was essentially useless. Like, normally I get 800 to 900 megabits per second download, and I was at like 50 maybe, and my upload speed was about 2 megabits per second, when normally I get like 35 to 40, and you kind of need at least like 10 megabits per second upload speed to do any kind of streaming work. It was just, oh God, crazy. It was crazy. But thankfully, I don't know whether, see, we had a rainstorm come through today, and we do live kind of rural. So unfortunately, it's kind of one of those places where if a cow farts in the wind the wrong way, we end up losing internet, we end up losing power. It's just, it's insane. Really annoying. But, so I don't know if it was a thing where like water got in somewhere and it started to like mess with the wiring and, kind of slowed everybody down, or what the case may be, but they finally got it apparently fixed up again, thankfully. But it was kind of aggravating because I actually wanted to be on quite a while ago, and got this late start. So that's okay. Hopefully I do sound okay. I had to install new RAM tonight in my system. My computer kind of desperately needed it. And so when I did that, though, it like changed all of the settings on my sound system. And so I hope that I have it all put back together again. I noticed that my camera is kind of like, I don't know, almost washed out a little bit. So I'm going to have to take care of that after the stream too. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with that either. But again, I had to plug everything in new. So I think it kind of just threw everything for a loop on me. But tonight I've been talking just, kind of like general stuff, just going over some of the things that I have planned for my setup for my channels and that kind of thing. So one of the things I'd like to do is sort of a role-playing night where I kind of come in with my persona of Serene Heart and have a bit of a storytelling kind of a thing for people. I think that'd be kind of cool. So hello there, Mossad. Welcome. Hope that you're having a good night. Not sure what you're doing there, but okay. Yeah, Tina, that's pretty crazy. It really is kind of nuts what you have to go through sometimes when you live rural. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and hop over here real quick. Give me 1 second here. Okay, there we go. So anyways, I hope that everybody out there is having a good night. Tina, how you doing today? I hope that everything over there is doing well too. It's been an interesting one here. I had to do some upgrades. I had to deal with the internet issues. It is what it is. So many different things. Oop, there's my voice again. There we go. Okay. Give me 1 quick second here. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to kind of deal with something here. Ollie, are you there on the Twitch side of things? I'm just trying to make sure here real quick. Sorry, give me just a second here. There we go. Okay, Ollie, I think I got it set up so that you're set up on mod there on Twitch. Just making sure. I meant to do that a long time ago and I ended up not. So hopefully that one worked. Good. Okay, good. It did go through. Oh, it did buffer? Oh, shoot. Why did it buffer? Don't buffer on me, computer. No, you're not allowed to do that. Okay. Anyways, I think we're back. Trying to help you get back into therapy. That's good. That's good. It shows that they care. That's a good thing. Sometimes I think that although we might be resistant to the idea of therapy, I mean, just like coming on and talking to people at random really is a form of therapy. I think that therapy itself kind of gets a bad rap, but the problem is that when you're dealing with therapy, you've really got to find a therapist that resonates with you. And that's kind of like sometimes hard to do, That is sometimes hard to do. I got lucky. I found one that is really good. She really resonates with me quite well. And she's actually helped both me and Jolene at the same time, because we don't do like couple therapy, but we're there together. I mean, I can't get out, you know what I mean? I can't get out and drive and all that kind of stuff. So, she's kind of there, and cause I'm an open book with her. I'm an open book with everybody. So, I don't ever like keep her out of any of it, and it's been beneficial for her too, because she's got a lot of stuff in her past with the suicides that she's dealt with her health issues alone are a big, kind of a trauma point for her. They assured you were crazy as hell. Well, welcome to the club, because, I think that you, honestly, let me put it to you this way. This is one of the ways that I think, right? If you look around, everything in this world is absolutely, abjectly nuts. Like, people in general are problematic at best. The way that we treat other people is problematic at best. The way that everything in the world is really set up is problematic at best. So to be considered normal in a world that is insane is in and of itself insane, right? I would rather be on the fringe outskirts and be called crazy in this world that we live in and not be a part of all of that than to be a part of all of that. I hope that makes sense. Like, it's almost like in this world, you have to be crazy to be able to function, I mean, because there's so much stuff that gets fed into us every minute of every day, No, some people shouldn't be professionals either. I mean, if it was meant as an insult, definitely do something about it, right? But I'm just meaning like in general, I would take it myself as, hey, good. I'm glad that I'm kind of crazy, Right, exactly. I would rather be crazy. I think that honestly, a lot of people deal with so many things in their lives, like at any given moment in time, that nobody really is normal. It's like one of the things I say as far as like growing up is concerned. Nobody comes through childhood unscathed, especially anymore. There's just too much going on at every moment in time, and if you and that's not even counting turning the news on and making it even worse, so yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like that's the way to be, really. My therapist definitely calls me, crazy, and I'm 100% with it. I'm like, good. Thank you. I'm glad you can acknowledge it, because I know I am. Hi there, Unique. Nice to see you. I hope that you're having a good day, and welcome on in. We're just kind of talking a little bit random stuff, talking about mental health stuff, talking about just whatever happens to come to the mind. Just having a little bit of fun tonight. So hopefully you're having a good night over there too. Yeah, I like having a therapist that is a lady, personally, and I know Jolene feels the same way too. She likes having the female therapist too, but there is definitely a preference. Some people feel more comfortable talking to one or the other, and it's kind of funny, because from what I've been able to understand, at least from the statistics being shown, it does tend to be easier for someone to talk to the opposite sex, and I'm not sure why that may be. It might be something kind of instinctive, because we as human beings sort of were, in general, not everybody, of course, but in general, the general population is kind of attracted to the opposite sex, right? So it might be like kind of more based in the idea of, hey, I can talk to this person because I can almost like warp it that it's a kind of a flirting situation or something like that, you know what I mean? So you can, I guess, shape your own mind to follow it that way, I guess. I don't know. Weird, but let me catch up with the chat here just a little bit. Sorry. Right, Tina? Yeah, okay. That is a very valid reason for sure. That is a very valid reason for sure. You want a female therapist, Ollie? Yeah. Sorry, for those of you guys just tuning in for the first time, I am blind. Like, I am legit blind. I'm trying to read the chat like as best as I can. I've got it like as close as I can without interfering with the camera. So you're going to see me squint and make weird faces and have my hands like this, because like it helps me to focus a little bit while I'm squinting really, really hard to be able to read the chat here. So give me just a moment. I'm sorry. So Unique, are you meaning like with when you were studying, are you meaning that the people that were also studying were really off too, and like wouldn't be considered to be professionals? I'm just trying to make sure I've got it clear, because it's a little bit hard for me to read from this distance. Again, I'm trying my best, so please pardon any kind of weirdnesses or wonkinesses I end up doing. I'm doing what I can with it all. So just want to make sure I get it clear though. This therapist that I have currently, and again, I'm an open book, right? I don't care about like the information that I share and that kind of thing. So you guys, please, if you don't feel comfortable sharing anything, definitely don't. I totally understand, but I always consider everything that I do and every part of me to be an open book. I don't have anything to hide or anything along those lines. So, and I don't mind talking about it, because to me, talking about it is at least somebody is, you know what I mean? Because it's hard to find people that'll actually, discuss it very openly. Anyways, but this therapist that I've got is the first one in a very long time. Like the last one that I had was probably a good 20 plus years ago. And I decided that I needed to see somebody or talk to somebody with things because, last year was kind of a big set of traumas, one after the other, that triggered all of the PTSDs that I already had in place. So by the time everything was said and done, I was like a hot mess, to say the least. I was just kind of getting recovered from all of the stuff that happened to me while I was doing the radio shows, and all of the doxing and the terrorizing, the absolute abject, pardon my French, but bullshit that was happening with the people that were attacking us. That was a very large set of traumatic circumstances for me and my family. And then last year we had a lot of other things happen on top of everything. And by the time it was said and done, I was in pretty bad shape. And I wasn't sure how to get through it. I knew I needed somebody to talk to, and I can always talk to Jolene about everything. Like I don't have anything to hide from her either, but, there's only so much that you can do when you're talking to your spouse. There is something to be said for talking to somebody that's outside of your inner circle that can kind of take that overview effect of what you're going through and give you like either advice or a sounding board, to help click things into place of what you need to do to fix it or whatever the case may be. So, okay. Gotcha. Okay. So the professors themselves were pretty unprofessional then. I have heard like mixed bag messages as far as, like the education of some therapists and psychiatrists out there goes. I know, like I'm a big advocate for people like voicing their thoughts and to make sure that they are their own best advocates when it comes to any kind of healthcare that they're doing, whether that's mental health care, physical health care, whatever the case may be. You really need to be your own best advocate because nobody else is going to be there to help you get through it if you're not also the front line saying something is not right here and I need to either find somebody different or you need to fix your ways so that we can get away from whatever it is that's going on. It does, Tina. It does. The astronauts, by and large, when the astronauts would come back to Earth, they would look at things a lot differently because when they were up there in the ships looking down, they kind of like had this thought in their head that has ever existed, that all of history that we know is right there within this little bubble, and I'm looking right at everything all at once. And so they kind of like had this weird psychological effect that they ended up calling the overview effect, where they could really take an outsider's viewpoint on existence, really what it comes down to, and see like things in a different light. So one of the things that I try to do with my own life is to sort of figure out ways that I can have that overview effect on the things that I'm doing, and going through, and try, if I'm not able to get the outsider's perspective, I try to be my own best outsider's perspective as much as I can. I know it's not possible to do it entirely because you're always going to have, something there, but I try to do what I can for it. So, okay, let me catch up the chat here. I see you guys are typing. So, so unique. I know I know what the self-medication thing is like. I did that so much when I was younger. I haven't had to do it for a while. There are times where the temptation is there. I didn't do drinking though. My dad was a whiskey drunk, and he was very abusive. And a lot of times when you're in that situation, you're kind of going to go one direction or another. You're going to probably either become that yourself, or you're going to run as far away from that addiction as you can. So I very, very rarely touch any kind of drink, because I'm very scared that I can become that. I'm also Native American, so I know genetically speaking, there are certain parts of our genes that do have a tendency to be prone to addiction to alcohol. And again, I don't want to trigger that kind of thing either. You know what I mean? But I definitely did a lot of other things. I never shot up and I never snorted, but I pretty much did every other thing that you can imagine. It was pretty bad. Now granted, again, this was like 30 years ago plus, right? It was in my late teens and early 20s that I did it. And that was during the time period where I had just gotten married. My wife tried to kill me on her honeymoon. We went through having a baby. You know, it was a big set of circumstances that was really, really hard. So I self-medicated, and it was not a good idea, but I know that that's what got me through the things that I was going through, you know, and sometimes it's unfortunate, but we do have to do that kind of a thing. I'm never a judge of somebody that needs to do it though. Never, because I went through it myself. So, you know, I hope that whatever you're going through that's forcing that upon you eases. I do. I truly 100% do. And just in the meantime, just do what you can to get through it as best as you can. You know, as long as you're being the best you that you can be in this moment in time, that's all anybody else can expect of you. And that doesn't mean that you have to be the best you all the time. That means the best you that you can be in this moment. And sometimes that just means getting up in the morning, going to work, coming home, and going to bed, and nothing else on top of it. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes just getting up in the morning. Sometimes it just takes, I'm going to sleep the whole damn day. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean being the best. It just means being what you can do that moment in time. You know what I mean? So, Tina being shamed. Be Krulik. So, no, I don't want to become famous. I don't want to buy followers. I don't want to buy primes. I don't want to buy viewers. So, you know, you can go away. That's fine. The people that are here are the ones that are meant to be here. That's the way I look at it. So, Tina, that is really hard. That is really hard. I don't know if you remember me talking about my second wife, the very abusive one. She was not a drinker, but she didn't need to be the hate-filled person that she was, and that is untenable to try to live with. It really is. I had to do it for 5 years, and I was finally lucky enough to get away from it. It's hard. It's hard, hon. I know. It really is. There was something else I was going to say, and I'm trying to it like totally slipped my mind. Ollie, are you still there? Just making sure. If you don't mind, if you are still there, can you go ahead and ban that seller? The seller that was there. Okay, cool. Thank you. I did a lot of LSD. I did a lot of weed. I did peyote a lot, a lot of peyote. I definitely did a lot of different things. Sorry about the noise there. My phone decided it wanted to give me an email message, and I'm not sure why. I thought I turned that off, but I'm a big advocate for the thought of just because you're saddled with somebody genetically, it doesn't mean that you have to have anything to do with them. If you can get away from it, you need to cut them out of your life just so that you can have some peace inside. That peace is very difficult to find. And PTSDs and traumas make it even harder. What especially sucks, and this kind of like goes more for younger people, I guess. But what especially sucks is that, if you're going through a situation that you have a toxic person in your life and you know that you need to get away from them, they're the same ones that tell you can't get away from them, or that you're not allowed, or that you have to, it's like they try to teach you that, or program you, I guess is the better way to put it, that you cannot get away from them, that you are not allowed to leave them. Family is everything. Family, no matter what, is you have to be around your family, and no, no, you don't. And sometimes, unfortunately, our families are the same ones that do us the most harm. So years ago, I walked away from basically everybody in my family except for my mom and my sister. Well, one of my sisters. I'm one of 13 kids, so I have a lot of a lot of them there. The one that I still have conversations with is one that even wasn't raised with us. Her mom and my dad ended up hooking up before he got together with my mom, and so she was kind of like the product of that one night stand, and so she wasn't raised with any of us. And I think that it's only that has allowed me to be able to have any kind of a relationship with her. And really the only reason why my mom I still communicate with, she lives with us, but she has dementia at this point, and I promised her years ago that I wouldn't let her live alone. So that's why she's here. And unfortunately it is a bit of a toxic situation. She's not in her right mind. She's not there all the way, I guess you could say. And that's hard, that's rough, but we have to kind of deal with it right now, because there's nowhere else for her to go. But that does add a little bit of trauma into the situations too, because she was very neglectful of me when I was growing up, and it's kind of hard for me not to feel that little bit of bitterness. You neglected me and now I'm supposed to take care of you, where's the rightness in that kind of a thing, but nobody else will deal with her. Nobody else in the family wants to have anything to do with her, because she's got the dementia, so, I mean, it's rough, it's hard, but it's kind of what we're saddled with. But when possible, you really want to try to cut the toxicity out of your life as much as you can. And that's not easy. It really isn't. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy. I'm not just like saying it, out of nowhere, I've had to do it, and it's rough to do. So yeah. Wow. Unique. That is a horrible thing to go through, man. I do deeply thank you for sharing with us tonight what you have been through. That's a hard thing to try to try to get through, what is hard for us human beings is that every decision that we make, everything that we do is all done through like a filter of every experience that we've gone through. And that includes like every TV show that we watch, every like movie we watch, book we read, advertisement we see, every person that we pass on the street. The random person's face is right there in your brain somewhere, and so every decision that we make is done through a lens that has that filter on it. And sometimes it's very difficult to understand why we choose the things that we do. Not really even remembering sometimes what those previous experiences were. They're like still rattling around and kicking around in the subconscious somewhere, right? But they're still there. They're still there and changing us as the person that we are at this moment in time, But the more that you can focus on like bringing the things to the surface and acknowledging them and like integrating them a little bit better into yourself, I think the more strength you can get from it. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's like people, running across people. Okay, I guess let me put it to you this way. A lot of people out there, the victims of abuse and the victims of all of the things, right? Tend to be like the kindest people you'll ever know. And it's almost like they get targeted by the abusers based upon the fact that they are this kind person. And it's like they're, for whatever reason, either feeding off of this kind person or like the sense that, okay, I have to destroy this beautiful thing because I don't like beauty, is almost like what it really feels like to me. That's kind of the sense that I got from like my dad when he was going through the abusive stage that he was. Here I was, this kid that was trying to, be unique, be myself, be who I wanted to be. And he felt the need to warp and shift that person that I wanted to be into something that he wanted it to be. And, that's not for me. That's not what I wanted. I'll give you an example. This is one of the ones that kind of like sticks in the head. It's like weird when you've been through abuse. There are certain like moments of that abuse, even if there was like a bunch of things that happened, and I can remember a bunch of the things that happened, but it's like the weird individual ones that stick out in your head the most are kind of like, you have to ask yourself, why is this one stuck there, right? There were so much worse things, but why is this one little one stuck here, right? But like one of the examples is I was trying to learn how to tie my shoes, and I was tying them in a like I was getting them tied, right? But I was tying them in a way that he wasn't teaching me. And finally he took the shoe away and thwacked me over and over in the face with it, and just screaming the whole time about it, and yet it was because he wanted me to learn how to tie my shoes, but I was tying my shoes. I was just not tying them in the way that he wanted me to tie them. So it's like, here this person was, the me, this person was accomplishing the goal that they had set out, but for whatever reason, he took it upon himself to say, no, even though you're getting that done, it's not my way. You know, it's always that my way or the highway kind of a thing. And I could have let that kind of an experience change me into a very hard person, you know, but there was always a bit of myself somewhere. Sometimes it was buried a little bit, but there was always a part of myself there that did not want to become what he was. And so I never got that hardness to me. And I'm grateful for that, because I don't know whether it was like some kind of part of the psychology that I had going on, or whether it was because I just encountered an angel one time or something that like said, nope, this little part of you is going to be hidden right here, you know, and you're not going to allow anything to affect it. I can't explain why, right? It's like, but you see people having that, you know, you see people going through these abusive situations, and there's still that spark of beauty, that spark of kindness, that spark of humanity that's there, that's left, even in spite of all of the things that they've been through. And that is what you, as somebody that's gone through traumatic experiences, needs to really focus on in your own self, is to find that core seed of yourself that is still that kindness, still that humanity, and protect it. It is the most precious part of yourself. It's the most important part of yourself. And it's what's going to get you through the things that you're going through. And I know all of this may sound a bit tripe and a little bit hard to do, and it is hard to do. But I think that it's important too, you know. We as human beings, we kind of like, I guess, how can I put this? It's like we're walking down a road, okay? And on one side of the road is all of the dark things, the abuses, the angers, the hatreds, the escapades, all of the horrible things about humanity are over on that side of the road, okay? And over on the other side of the road are the beautiful things, the love, light, peace, serenity, the Lucky Charms guy spreading his marshmallows all over the place. All of that is over on the other side of the road. We as human beings, we're not in one side or the other. We're still walking down this center of the path, but our heads can be turned one direction or another. You know, we can be looking at the dark, or we can be looking at the light, but we're not a part of either of those things. And I think that it's an unfortunate, like, survival instinct for us to have more of a skew towards the negative aspects of things, because that's where our matter of survival is. You know, that's where the lions are. That's where the Dane attention the most. But we don't have to live on that side. You know, we don't have to live in that area. And again, I know this may sound a little weird, but this also helped me to like get through a lot of the troubles that I had gone through. But it is a scientific fact that every 7 years you have changed every bit of cellular items that are within yourself. Every cell within your body has been renewed. Every brain cell, every heart muscle, everything within you has become something new. It's regenerated into something new. Everything. That guy has survived everything, and that's the one that's going to help you get through what you're going to get through. You know what I mean? That's the person that you want to become. You don't want to be a knight in shining armor. You're You're a survivor. Listen, you have literally survived everything that has been thrown at you to this point. There is nothing that has killed you, right? You are a survivor. And you got to grab hold of that as your purpose. Like, that is your strength. You have survived, my friend, everything that has been thrown at you. And don't let that go. I hope all that makes sense. I'm a little weird. I'm going to grab a drink here real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Needed to hydrate. So, anyways, one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight too, and I don't know, again, this is whatever you guys want to talk about, please throw it out there. I'm grateful for the interactions. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, right? I'm blind. I don't have the ability to get out and go somewhere to go be with people or anything like that. You guys are my people. You guys are my friends. You guys are the people that I have in my life. Okay. So I am absolutely grateful that you are here with me to be a part of my life, of my experience. And I consider it a very precious thing that you're here. Okay. But one of the things that I wanted to make sure you guys hear is the subject of forgiveness. Forgiveness is very, very difficult. Very difficult. Nigh on impossible sometimes, depending on what you've gone through, right? But I think that forgiveness is really important to help us to get through to the next stages outside of our trauma experiences. But let me say that forgiveness is never about the other person. It's about yourself. Until you can find a way to forgive the person, their actions, it's going to be very difficult for you to let go of what they've done. And I don't mean letting go as in you're never going to think about it or experience it again. I just mean to let go of the pain of it. You know what I mean? In some kind of way, even if it's to a degree, you know what I mean? Everything is a matter of degrees. Oh geez, Ollie, really? Okay, everybody give Ollie the dumb arse clap for me. Good job, Ollie. You're a professional. I love you, kiddo. I do. Anyways, you are a professional indeed. Letting go of pain. Yeah, it is super, super difficult. And don't get me wrong, man. Forgiveness for some, look, I had to forgive my father, who was a whiskey drunk and beat the hell out of me, and my mom, and yelled at me, and you name it, all the time, right? All the time. From the time that I was born until I was 8 years old, when he finally quit drinking, this man was a nightmare, right? I've been through my first wife trying to murder me on our honeymoon, my second wife being severely abusive, my third wife walking out in the middle of the night to go move to Canada to be with some guy that she met over the internet, leaving me and the kids in the lurch, I've been raped. I've been molested. I've been abused by other people. You know, I have been through a lot, a lot. Okay. I'm not kidding when I say that I've been through probably everything that it's possible to go through as a human being, aside from death and giving birth myself. But you name pretty much anything else, I've probably been through it, right? So that's a lot of stuff to carry. You know, that's a lot of weight to carry. I had to try to figure out some kind of way to start letting things go, at least in some degree. Okay. And don't get me wrong that when I say forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. You know, it's not a forgive and forget thing. And forgiveness doesn't mean to like allow them to continue doing it to you. It just means that you're not going to be subject to the pain of it as much. The trick for me, and I'm not saying this is gonna, good Lord, phone, shut up, please. You always interrupt every video I do. Anyway, I'm not gonna say that this is like an easy process. It is not at all easy. Okay, but if you want to work on something, this might be like a good start. I started to get, I guess you could say, an attitude of gratitude about things. Because again, I've gone through everything that I've gone through and I have survived all of it somehow. And I think sometimes I had angelic intervention too, by the way, but, I have gotten through everything and I've survived to this point. Okay. And I think that I'm here for a reason, whatever that reason might be. I don't know yet, but I'm here. Right. So obviously I'm meant to be here. This attitude of gratitude that I ended up kind of grasping hold of was, I guess, key for me to start learning how to forgive things. So for instance, the abuses that I went through, I can be, and it's weird, but I can be oddly grateful for it in a way by knowing and understanding that I'm never going to do anything like that to any of my kids. And I'm going to do everything that I can do to prevent my kids and to teach my kids to never accept that kind of thing in their life. You see what I mean? So I can be grateful. Thank you for the abuse. Thank you for teaching me that this is not something that I want to have in my life or my kids' lives. Right? It's kind of, it's weird, but it's kind of, you got to figure out a way to twist your brain into accepting it in some kind of way before you can start doing a forgiveness step. Tina and Unique, you both are absolutely on the right track. You know, I that's one of the reasons why I do things like this sometimes is because not only have I been through it and I want to try to help people like get through it, but I also want to be a place where people can come and understand that I'm never going to judge them for anything that they've been through, because I've been through it too. My God, I've been through it too. And listen, before anybody else ever tries to tell you otherwise, you're worthy of being loved. And I love you. And I know that may sound a little weird to have this strange guy on the internet tell you that he loves you, but I do. Absolutely 100%. If you're not being evil, I love you. Okay? So don't ever let anybody teach you that you're not worthy of being loved. Don't ever give your power away. Okay? Tina, it's not about absolving them. It's about letting it go for yourself. You're not going to forget it. You're not going to allow them to forget it. But the way that I looked at, for instance, the abuse with my second wife is that if she knew how much the abuse that she put me through was affecting my life and the decisions that I made and the fear that I made them with, she would take a sick pride in it, and I could not give her that satisfaction. If nothing else, I could not give her that satisfaction. It gave me kind of a righteous anger about the situation so that I could use it as a justification again to start to warp my mind around it a little bit, you know? So, I hope all of that makes sense. You know, you've got to try to figure out whatever key it is for you, it's going to be different for everybody, right? That's what worked for me, but you've got to figure out a way to start like forgiving the things. And that includes forgiving yourself as well, because we as trauma victims carry a lot of guilt within ourselves over the abuses that we've been through and the traumas that we've been through. We have to forgive ourselves most of all, because we accuse ourselves in the middle of the night of, why did you get yourself in that situation? Why were you so stupid? Why did you do this? Why did you step in there? Why did you wear that piece of clothing that you wore that allowed me to get raped? Why did you, I mean, on and on and on, right? This is the stuff that goes through our heads. We absolutely murder ourselves with the thoughts that are going through. You know what I mean? So you have to forgive yourself too, because we are our own worst abusers, honestly. And I know that sounds a little weird, but we really are our own worst abusers, because we will keep victimizing ourselves over everything that we've been through. Yeah, narcissists, man, I'll tell you, they are a dime a dozen. They are every damn where, and you've got to really figure out ways to learn the signs of them. Like, for me, I mean, I'll give you an example, right? And this is probably, again, getting personal, but one of my kids got together with somebody, and when I first met this guy, the phrase that I kept hearing. Now I'm just going to give this to you guys. Okay. You tell me 10 times in less than 20 minutes, I heard him say, "You trust me, don't you?" To not only her, but her kid. And he then said it to me. And then he said it to one of my other kids. "You trust me, don't you?" More than a dozen times within 15 to 20 minutes. When we first met. So you tell me what should go through your head when you encounter somebody like that. I'll give you a moment. Trivia with Ira time. I just needed an excuse to take a vape there real quick, actually. Right, exactly. Exactly. I knew this person was a narcissist and an abuser. Like, I knew instantly. But then again, I'm the kind of person... I didn't sing it. I sung it off key. I sung it off key for a reason. I'm the kind of person, like, I'm an empath. Okay. I can feel what others feel. I know what other people are feeling, and I can smell a lie like a fart in a car, right? I know before they even know. I know before they even speak what kind of energy they've got. And I don't know maybe if that's because of the traumas that I've been through, that it's like it's a learned kind of a thing, or if it's just something that I've had kind of all along. I don't know. I can't tell you. But it is definitely something that a lot of people who have been through abuse do pick up. You know what I mean? Like, they're able to really really sense what other people are about before you even like hear the first word out of their mouth. You already know this person's not to be trusted, or, hey, this person might be okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't trust that. Don't trust that. But anyways, so like that narcissistic personality really targets people that are kind and caring and giving. And they're like an energy vampire. I mean, they will suck you dry faster than you can even blink if you give them half of a chance to. And that's the thing, you know, you've really got to figure out like who that person is before you give anything to them. And I mean, that's kind of like the rough part of things too, is that I don't want to be the kind of person that's not willing to give to others, right? I mean, I'm always trying to make sure that other people are supported and that other people are like getting what they need. And when I can, even financially, you know, do what I can. Although I can't do much, right? I live on $600 a month disability. That ain't much. That doesn't even pay rent, you know? So money's not a thing here. You know what I mean? Like, but I'll try, you know, I'll try to do what I can, but it's like, I don't want to be the kind of person that's not willing to do that. And it's like, the more that you encounter people that take advantage of you, the more apt you are to end up becoming the person that closes off from being able to do that kind of a thing. And I don't want to do that, you know? So like, I learned pretty quickly before they even speak, they're not going to be a person that I'm going to get involved with, you know? Tina, good God. See, can I ask, like, how long have you been married? Like, are you willing to, don't share it if you don't want to, but like, I'm just wondering how long you've been married to this guy. I can give you, like, when Jolene was in the hospital, in December, when she had her heart surgery, I so desperately wanted to be there, but because of the COVID stuff, they wouldn't let me. They only let me see her for an hour. But if I could have, I would have been there every minute. And when she was in the hospital the second time in February for that 18 days worth of a hospital stay, because she was failing, again, I couldn't be there. And it was the hardest thing for me, because I just so desperately wanted to be at her side and making sure that I was holding her hand and that she was feeling me there, you know, every minute. We did end up getting, we got her a laptop through Rent-A-Center basically. And, we hooked it up in the room for her so that she could like be able to see me and talk to me still. And, like, we were connected all the time, trying to make sure that we were spending time together, you know? Gotcha. Okay. So you've been through that kind of thing twice then. That's hard. That's hard, Tina. I am so sorry that you're going through everything that you're going through. I mean, you know my answer is if you can get away from it, it'd be the best thing for you, you know. And you know that too. You do know that too. I know you do. But maybe it'll help to hear somebody else say it. But I know that's not always possible. So if there's anything that I can ever do to like help you to get through it, I'm here. I'm here all the time. Okay. So it's hard to have hope, and it's hard to find a way to get through the day when you're still in the situation. Believe me, I know. I went through that for 5 years, and I couldn't get away from it because I was too afraid. I mean, she told me if I ever left her, she'd kill me. And then she goes, "Nah, I love you too much to kill you, but I'll break your effing back." And she could do it. I mean, she was a very large, angry woman, and she could definitely do it if she put her mind to it. So I was very afraid. I didn't want to invoke that wrath. I was already invoking it enough as it was just by existing, Thankfully, a friend of mine helped me to get out of the situation and escape it, but it took a while. It took a lot of doing. God. I can't imagine that. Well, I can't imagine it, unfortunately, but my wife has heart issues, and I do everything that I can do to try to make sure that she knows, like, how much I love her and how much I adore her. I mean, I love her with the fury 1,000 suns could never match, and I've been there on that other side of it too. It's a hard situation, Tina. It really is. And I'm sorry that you're going through it. I really am, my friend. Is there anything that you can do to get out of it? I mean, I guess let me ask you that. Is there anything that you can do to try to get out of it? Or do you have anywhere that you could go or anything? Dealing with somebody that's basically a terrorist, what can you do besides either walk away or kill them? And I'm not advocating for that, believe me. Don't record that. FBI, thank you. But it's like sometimes you feel like you don't have much of a choice in it. And it's hard to forgive while you're still going through it. It's hard to, I mean, that's not something that you can forgive in this moment in time. You gotta have that anger to help you sustain, And I know that sounds weird, but gotcha. That's what I was thinking, Tina, but I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure there before I said anything untoward or anything like that. So, yeah, I definitely understand that too. We have a son that's autistic as well, and in financial straits, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the person that I'm with at this point, because I don't know how I deserved her, but she's been the greatest thing in my life, So, do you mind me asking how old he is, just out of curiosity? I need to AFK just for a brief moment here. My cat is like trying to beat down the door, so I need to go take care of this here real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. I had to go take care of that situation. He likes to try to like claw at the side of the door when the door is closed. So I needed to go take care of it because we don't want to have him tear up the house, basically. So, okay. So, I mean, at least you're getting some kind of assistance with things, and I do hope that things, look, I mean, everybody that's here, if you guys could please like focus some positive energy towards Tina and help to support her through the things that she's going through, I would deeply appreciate it. Give her the strength to get through it and to sustain through everything that she's going through. You've got all of our love, Tina. So okay. And that may be some karmic action taking place right there too, Tina. I'm kind of a odd duck. I kind of follow the idea of karma, that people get what kind of is coming to them. And that may be, in an odd way, the universe is doing what it can to help protect you through it. So I'm sorry if all of this has kind of turned dark on you, Tina. I didn't intend for tonight to get that way for you. But I just want you to know that you are loved, okay, and that you're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. One of the things that I did to help me get through some of the things that I was going through when I was going through the abuse was I noticed that my attitudes, my mind sheltered a lot of the kind and caring parts of myself away. And towards her, I had a very cold attitude. I had a very like I barely interacted with her, barely said anything. I kind of like hid myself away almost in the house, so that she wouldn't notice me as much, Yeah. Yeah, I mean, your kiddo is number one. Your kiddo has to be number one. Especially if they've got a mental disorder like autism. They have to be the priority in every situation. And I think, honestly, what drives me kind of nuts, and I see this a lot today, is that parents, they take such a cavalier attitude about their kids, that they don't have them at the forefront of the things that they do. Like, they get into relationships with people that they know are going to turn out bad, but they still have their kids involved with it. I've seen that in people that we're friends with, that they'll get together with one person after another, and they just keep on thinking, well, this is going to be the one, right? But in the meantime, the kid is just having this one person after another keep traipsing through their life. They have no what's the word I'm looking for? Stability. That's the word I'm looking for. They have no stability to be able to hold on to. It's frightening for them. But the parents just keep on doing it. And then there are other parents that, because look, I'm a big supporter of people that are in the LGBT realm. Because a couple of my kids are in that, right? And one of the things that I keep seeing is these parents that are just so damn evil to their kids. Like if the kid comes out as gay to them or something like that, they will just make their lives a nightmare. And I don't understand that. Like what my kids do in their bedrooms is none of my business, right? It's none of my business. And I don't own them. They're not my property. The person that they want to be is the person that they're going to be. The only thing that I can do as a parent, and the only right thing that I can do as a parent, is to teach them to be decent human beings. And whatever else they do, it doesn't impact me in any way. It doesn't, I don't care. If you're not hurting people and you're not being a nightmare in somebody's life, and you're doing what you need to do to get by in life, then more power to you. Are you happy? Okay, great. You're gay? Okay, well, fine. Go take out the trash. I don't get why so many parents make it into such a big issue, and turn their lives into just a nightmare, Now, again, if my kid is going to be evil, then yes, I'm absolutely going to step in and try to, correct what's going wrong there, right? But beyond that, I'm not in their bedroom, and I don't want to be. Whatever you want to do. It's fine. I don't care. Take out the trash. Go do the dishes. Help your mom out. Whatever the case may be. I don't get it. I don't get why some parents out there just take it upon themselves to be the worst evil to their kids that they can be, and then wonder why their kids don't have any respect for them, or wonder why their kids don't want to have anything to do with them. Well, I'm sorry, Karen, but if you weren't evil to your kid while they were growing up and trying to come to you with this big thing in their life, and you broke every bit of trust with them that you had ever generated, then what do you expect is going to happen? What do you expect is going to end up occurring? They're going to reject you. They're going to walk away, and rightfully so, so I don't know. So I'm a big supporter. I do try to do what I can, to show that okay, cause that's one of the things, one of the reasons why I named my channels, Blind Dad Does, right? Cause I want to not be a dad figure, but sometimes people just need a little bit of a dad advice or a dad moment in their life. Somebody that, is a figure that can say, hey, you are worthy of being loved, no matter who you are or what you're going through or what you're doing or whatever the case may be. If you're not evil, then you're worthy of being loved. And even if you're evil, you're worthy of being loved. You just need to change your damn ways. Right? So, and that's what I try to do. That's all I really want to be is this person that, I guess can be an advocate for them in some kind of way, I just don't understand the evils that some parents do. I don't get it. I really don't. It always makes me want to tell them, in no uncertain terms, to, go lay an egg.
Shut your hole!
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, I just, that's what I want to do, kind of with my life, with my channels, with the way that I'm doing things. Yes, I will play games. I will, come on here and just kind of have fun, have fun nights and all that kind of stuff. But I also want people to walk away from my shows, maybe not changed, but at least thinking, right? At least having a different moment than they would get somewhere else. It's I look through Twitch, for instance, and I see that so many people in the just chatting area are, doing the weirdest things, and nobody's having deep thoughts or some real communication, good. One of the, I don't know, maybe if I show a little bit of cleavage, would that maybe get a few more people coming in? That might be something that I can look into. But my beard kind of covers up all my cleavage, unfortunately, and unfortunately I don't have the really nice moobs, so it might not work out very well. But again, I fully believe that everybody that's here is like meant to be here. You're meant to be here hearing the things at this moment in time. Yeah, I can go twerk. That might work. That might work. I don't think anybody wants to see that, Ollie. Nobody needs to see that one. Yeah, that's pretty much what everybody would look like if I was doing twerking right now. But you got to work it for the money. You got to work it for the money, man. Anyway. I told you guys, to begin with, I am the strangest person that I've ever met. I try to prove it every day, and probably just did a little bit, but yeah. I want to be like the person that you guys can come to and say, you know what, I'm going to walk away from this with something in my head that's a little bit deeper, or make you guys laugh, make you guys just have an enjoyable life, have a happy, thinky, whatever kind of thing that you want to say, these moments where you can feel a little blessed, I guess is the way I can put it, without sounding religious or anything like that, because I'm definitely not anything like that. But, we can feel a little bit relaxed. Relax, don't do it. So, yeah. So I wanted to make sure to go back a little bit to the forgiveness thing. For those of you guys just tuning in, hey, welcome. I hope that you guys are having a really good night. This is Blind Dad Does, and right now Blind Dad is doing just weird things, and we're having a discussion about, anything that comes to mind. This is kind of an Ask Me Anything, and we'll talk about anything kind of a channel. I am an open book. I am blind. Yes, absolutely. I am blind. Anything past about 3 inches or so in front of my face is washed out to me. I have a disorder called keratoconus. It's a genetic defect that started kicking in about 12 years ago, and it took my vision in the way that it did. At that point in time, within about 6 months, I was able to drive and everything like that, and then 6 months later, gone. But what do I think about people self-diagnosing? Hey, Iron. Hey, Jolene's sleeping. You guys might hear her snoring here and there. She can't help it. She's on her oxygen, and sometimes it makes her do a little bit of snorting here and there. But I will tell her that you said hi, though, Iron, and welcome for sure. We're having just kind of weird discussions tonight, just having a little bit of fun and a little bit of thinky. Okay, let me catch up to what Ollie's saying here. I feel like in certain cases it's okay, like if you have something like autism and it's super expensive to get a diagnosis. I think that enough information is available that you can at least make the attempt, or at least the start, to do a little bit of self-diagnosis when it comes to trying to figure out what's going on or what's wrong with you. But there is a little bit of a danger zone to it too, because when you're in it, it's a little bit more difficult to be objective about it. So if you do like feel that there is something that's going on with you that you are discovering, and you've kind of figured out, okay, this might be X thing, like autism, for instance, then also like follow as if that is the case, right? But also at the same time, like try to have somebody that knows you out, also take a look at it too, and see if it's something that they can like agree with, because they might, like, we don't see ourselves as other people see us, right? We're seeing ourselves in a very like conceptualized sort of a thing, and it can be difficult to figure out how we function without having that overview effect, right? So that's my thought, is that I don't see an issue with people doing self-diagnosing. I think that sometimes when it comes to dealing with doctors and so on and so forth, we are our own best advocates, and we have to be our own best advocates, because without that being the case, they miss a lot of things. They miss a lot of things. So doing good here, Iron. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get Jolene to stop snoring over here. She's getting kind of loud. I got to beat on the bed a little bit. There we go. She rolled over, so it should stop now. You got to love it. Anyway, we've had an interesting night for sure, Iron. I would have been on a lot earlier today, but our internet went to shite, basically, is the best way I can put it. We had a rainstorm come through here, and it was a pretty bad one. And our internet basically, like normally we get anywhere between 800 and 1,000 megabits per second download speed. We were getting 50. And our upload speed, which is normally like anywhere between 35 and 60 megabits per second, went to 2. And it's kind of impossible to stream when you've only got 2 megabits per second upload speed. It just doesn't happen. So, yeah. Right. They aren't gods. Exactly. And also like, when you have, okay, so let's take autism for instance, right? Because that's been brought up a few times tonight. So let's take autism for instance. If you have either yourself or your family member is autistic, I'm sorry, my phone decided to mess up, so I'm not seeing all the text here. It gets to the point where like you have to be your own advocate towards it, because most doctors don't even have a full understanding of what autism is. Like they really don't. They don't have a clue how to deal with it. And also, you as the parent or you as the patient are going to sit there and educate yourself so deeply on what your disorder is that you're going to have more knowledge about it than any doctor, aside from like people that completely specialize in it, are going to have. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to fix my chat box here. Give me 1 quick second here. I'm just trying to get things, cause my seems like it's, there we go. Okay. Now it's going through. There we go. Okay. Let me catch up again. I'm sorry. Make it stream anyway. Yeah, it was bad. And I had to call the dang cable company twice. And what sucks is they were just out here 2 days ago. 2 days ago, they had to completely rebalance everything out on the pole and everything like that. And we thought that things were fixed. And then tonight happened. Doctors suffer from hubris. That is definitely a thing. And I think honestly nurses are better than doctors. I do. I'm kind of maybe a weird person to say that, but I think that nurses actually are better than doctors. Doctors might have the knowledge of things, but the nurses are the ones that are in the trenches and the front lines and dealing with the patients and seeing everything that's going on with them. I will give you a perfect example of something that my wife went through just over the past few months. When she was in the hospital the second time. Okay, so kind of backstepping a little bit. She was home after her surgery and she ended up getting some fluid on her lungs. And so they needed to do a thoracentesis, which is taking a needle, puncturing down into her rib cage and pulling out some of the fluids that are surrounding the lung. Okay. And they pulled about a half a liter of fluid off. And then the doctor punctured her lung. The doctor nicked her lung with the needle and punctured it, collapsed it, and then tried to hide it, saying that what she was experiencing was normal. 10 minutes later, she's corking up blood and, her blood pressure levels started to drop and so on and so forth. So that this hour-long outpatient procedure turned into an 18-day hospital stay. Okay. And during that 18 days, her heart rate went into some severe tachycardia. Like she was up at like 140 and 150 beats per minute on a constant basis with no, like, just sitting there still. Right. And so they didn't knock her out for it. No, she was awake the whole time. So they put her on this drug called colchicine. And they said, this is the drug of choice for the situation that she's in to try to recover her tachycardia and to make her heart failure reverse, because she was in severe heart failure at that point. Now, granted, with her, okay, so she was born with tricuspid atresia, which means that her heart only has 3 chambers. Okay, so one of the chambers of her heart is missing. And so she's always in heart failure in some kind of way, like that's unavoidable, but she was even more severe with this whole situation. So they put her on this colchicine and they told her, you're going to get the runs. Like, this is the side effect that ends up happening. You're going to get the runs. And bear in mind, colchicine is a gout medication, but they're giving it to her for heart failure. Okay. So anyways, so they put her on this medication, told her she's going to get the runs. That happens to everybody that's on it. And she did. Within 24 hours, she ended up getting the runs. And, this may be a little bit TMI, but please bear with me. This is important to show what I'm talking about here. And within 2 days, she not only had the runs going on, but every time that she would have a movement, she would throw up. And then she started throwing up just regardless whether or not she had a movement or not. As the days progressed, it was getting more and more severe. And we kept telling the doctors, are you sure that she needs to be on this? Because it seems like it's doing her worse than good. They were still pulling fluid off of her lungs. By the time everything was said and done, they pulled 4 liters worth of fluid off of her lung. 4 liters. That's 2 gallons of fluid off of her lung. She's still got diminished lung capacity from all of this too, by the way. Just what somebody in heart failure needs, right? So by the time that the 8th day came, they told her, we're going to have to keep you on this medication for another couple of months. Pardon my French, but holy shit, how are you supposed to deal with this? The girl, literally was throwing up constantly. She was crapping her brains out constantly. She was losing complete control of her body, and she was becoming so despondent that I could not even get her to respond to me when I was trying to talk to her. I mean, that's how bad it was getting. So I finally was able to, because she was staying in a hospital that was 2 hours away from where we live. Okay. She couldn't eat. Yeah. They were like the next day before I showed up, they were going to put a feeding tube in, you know, because they would not stop giving her this medicine. They kept saying, no, this is the medicine of choice. This is the medicine of choice. This is the medicine you need to use. Well, I mean, in this case, the medicine is worse than the disease, right? So I got a ride down there so that I could confront the doctors and tell them, you need to take her off of this right now. I am not allowing you to give this to her anymore. And thankfully, going back to the nurses thing, thankfully, the nurse that was on staff that night refused to give it to her. And then the next day, the doctors came in and said, okay, well, we'll change the medication. We'll put her on prednisone and it's not going to be as effective, but we'll try it. And within 24 hours, she was feeling so much better. They were able to release her within 48 hours. So doctors don't always know what they're doing, and they don't always know what's best for the patient, because this patient was here, you know, my wife was here with them, and they did not see the damage that they were doing. The only thing that they could see was that it was maybe marginally improving her numbers, but they weren't looking at the person, right? They were not looking at who was there. They were just looking at the numbers on a page. And that's all. She still has a lot of stomach issues, yes. In fact, we have to take her to a GI specialist because she still her stomach is still completely screwed up because of what they did to her on this medication. And then after she was released, we started doing our own research in regards to this medication, colchicine, and discovered that if you're taking it for gout, which is what it's for to begin with, right? If you're taking it for gout, if you reach the stage where you're getting diarrhea, you need to stop taking it because you have reached toxic levels of this drug. And they still gave it to her for 8 days after the first appearance of the runs. So her body was so toxic filled with this medication that it was literally killing her. I could see the life draining away in front of my eyes. And they still refused to take her off of it. You know, that's what doctors do. They only look at those numbers, right? They only look at the chart and see what's there, as opposed to taking a look at the person who's there. And nurses see the person, right? They're the ones that are there cleaning you up. They're the ones that are there talking to you. They're the ones that are there holding your hand as you're throwing up, you know, cleaning your hair as it's going through it, right? They're the ones that are the inflated ego. Absolutely. And the problem is, Iron, it wasn't even just one guy. It was a team of doctors that were doing it. It was a team of doctors that were keeping her on this medication. I mean, it was horrible. It was, I have never seen her that close to death, and I've seen her close to death a few times. I have never seen her that close. I mean, I was getting myself prepared that I was going to lose her, you know? It's not even about ego, really. I mean, it goes beyond ego. It goes into literally they think they're gods, you know, in a lot of, and it's not all, don't get me wrong. It's not all, but in so many cases, that's what it comes down to, you know? Right, exactly. See, she's had the same thing, right? They keep telling her don't take in any sodium. You got to be on a low sodium diet. She just got blood tests back today showing that her sodium levels are horribly low. Right? Poor communication, exactly. And what really sucked too with the whole situation is that the surgeon, the one who did the surgery back in December originally, told her over and over, look, I mean, if this colchicine doesn't work, we can just switch you on to prednisone and it's no big deal. And he was trying to push the fact to these team doctors that you got to take her off this medication. And they weren't even listening to their own surgeon telling them, look, you're killing her, you know? I mean, everybody's bodies are different, right? And you know what really sucked too? Okay, so when the thoracentesis, I'll go into this too, because this is just as crazy. Like, this is what really got things started in a big way for her. When they punctured her lung, they admitted her to the hospital that was local, okay? And the doctor that was on staff wanted to do something about her elevated heart rate. Okay. Now bear in mind, she just 3 weeks before had a major open heart surgery. So the kind of surgery that she had was, they had to cut the heart open completely, take a shunt that had been in there from the time that she was 4 years old on out, close her heart back up, then put in a new shunt on the outside of the heart to go between her aorta and the rest of her veins. Okay. That was basically the purpose of it. They also did a maze procedure, to try to like regulate any palpitations that she might have. And they also inserted in pacemaker leads. They didn't put a pacemaker in, but they put the leads in to, kind of future proof things so that they wouldn't have to open her back up again if they needed to do a pacemaker. So they put the pacemaker leads in. They're in her abdomen, not up here, but they're in her abdomen. And so this doctor that was on staff at the hospital that was local, where they did the failed thoracentesis, wanted to do something about the tachycardia. So he pushed a medication, not only giving it to her in pill form, but in IV form as well, on top of each other. And the medication is the type of medication that will drop your blood pressure. She has chronically low blood pressure. Like, that is one of her issues with her heart. She has chronically low blood pressure. And so this doctor pushed this medication, and a big dose of it, not only pill, but IV as well. And as soon as that went into her system, her blood pressure dropped like a rock. She dropped down to, I think it was 50/32. So then yeah, that's a lot of scarring. It really is. She's got very deep scars, to say the least. So this medication they pushed on her dropped her blood pressure hardcore. Tina, thank you so much for being here. I love you. I hope that you come back again soon. I'm going to be on again tomorrow for sure, as long as my internet holds up. We got more rain coming tomorrow, so as long as my internet holds up, I'm going to be here. But everybody, please, again, as we did earlier, please send every bit of positivity, every bit of love, every bit of energy that you guys have towards Tina to keep her supported, to keep her going, to keep her safe. Okay. Tina, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we'll talk to you very soon. Okay. Get some good sleep. So this doctor pushed this medication, dropped her blood pressure hard, and then put her on, now get this, 15 liters oxygen. 15 liter oxygen. Okay. For those of you guys not aware, anything above 6 liters worth of oxygen is going to do some severe damage to your lungs. Okay. They have to be very cautious when they go above 6 liters oxygen. Night, Tina. Sleep well. Sleep well and be safe. Giving you a big hug too. So they put her on this 15 liters oxygen, and they didn't even put hydration with it. no humidity to it at all. So it was dry, 15 liters oxygen. Within 2 minutes, her nose started bleeding like crazy. And bear in mind, she just had her lung punctured, you know, and they're putting on this 15 liters oxygen to try to keep her blood pressure up enough that she would not crash and have a heart attack or a stroke because this medication dropped her so hard. Okay. So then this doctor comes traipsing into the room and was like, okay, well, that didn't work, but at least we were able to bring your tachycardia down. Yeah, by almost killing her. Yeah, you brought her heart rate down. You almost killed her. I mean, the audacity, the hubris of this guy to walk in, okay, well, at least we brought your heart rate down, after literally dropping her blood pressure to critical levels. I mean, you go below 30 on that systolic, you're basically in the coffin. Okay. And then comes in walking, oh yeah, we were able to get the now the kicker part of it, the really bizarre part of it is that he told us at one point in time that he was trying to reach the doctors at Riley Hospital, which is where she had the surgery done. Okay. And that he wasn't able to get a hold of the cardiologist there. So another one of the cardiologists that was on staff at this particular hospital came in and talked to her about her tachycardia. And when he found out that she had just had the surgery the previous few weeks before, he's like, oh, okay, well, that explains your tachycardia. I'll put a note in there that they don't need to worry about it. And then within, I think it was 10 hours, this other doctor ends up pushing this med to try to bring her tachycardia under control. So he was going against the advice of his own cardiologist on staff, saying, don't do anything about it. You know, leave it alone. It's okay. Went right against it. Yeah. Yeah. And what's crazy is he got his degree in the Philippines. I kid you not. It's listed on the website that he got his degree in the Philippines. I mean, nothing against Philippine doctors, but seriously, I mean, if he wasn't even a full-on doctor. He was a hospitalier. Okay. And like was not there to push anything, right? You're literally just there to keep the people that are there alive. That's all that your job is. You know what I mean? And so going against the advice of his own staff, he pushed this. So, and then told us that he couldn't get a hold of any of her regular doctor, right? Of her doctor that had done the surgery and knew exactly what was going on with her heart. So before even finding out anything along those lines of what he should do, he decides to push it. And the twisted part is that as he was giving the order to do it, right? He said, well, we had somebody in here a couple of weeks ago that had tachycardia going on. And we did this and it was able to bring his tachycardia down. He was fine within 12 hours. Okay, well, was he just out of surgery? Did he have a congenital heart defect? Did he just have a maze procedure done? You know, everybody is different, right? Every single person is different. So what works on somebody is not necessarily going to work on the other, right? And there are a lot of factors that are going on with her in particular. She's a very special case. She's a very special case. She's a very different case than just somebody walking in off the street having a heart attack or something, right? So after he does this medication to her and almost kills her and she finally recovers from it, then he comes in and says, well, we were able to get a hold of the people at Riley and they want you to come down there. So we're going to send you down there. And within about an hour, like she thought that they were just meaning like they were going to send her on an ambulance ride, you know, down to Riley Hospital, which is basically about a 2-hour drive away. Like she's non-critical, right? She's non-critical at that point in time. They put her on a chopper They put her on the life flight chopper to take her down there. Like, and bear in mind, this is the middle of winter, right? This is like February, snowing, cold February here in Indiana this year. And when the chopper people came in to take her out, you know, in the bed, they had, the people that were prepping her to go didn't even like wrap her in blankets or anything. They were just throwing her out the door. I mean, it just kind of like keeps going on and on and on here, you know? So the chopper people took care of her, and this is the first time that she ever had a helicopter ride. So she was kind of like excited about that, but she was really nervous about it until she found out that the pilot, actually was he was a chopper pilot in Iraq during the Iraqi war, and that he had done life flights during there. So she's like, okay, well, he's gone through all kinds of turbulence and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to worry about a little bit of turbulence here in Indiana as we're flying around. So the chopper people wrapped her up, you know, got her all bundled up and ready to go and everything like that. And they were just kind of like looking at the other nurses like, what the hell are you people doing? You know? And so they got her down to this other hospital, the one where she had the surgery originally done. And, no. The pilot himself was, flew in the Iraqi war. So he was a vet, you know, he was very, very good pilot. So she didn't worry about it as much as she would have, if it was anybody else, really. That was my point. Not that there was a problem with the pilot, but that he was really good with it. They got her down to the other hospital, and, basically from what we can gather, her doctor, her surgeon, that the surgeon basically told this other doctor, and pardon my French, but we call him fucking Burrito. His last name's Burrito, and I mean, he was just completely worthless, right? So this Burrito guy basically talked to her main doctor, and her main doctor was like, you get your hands off my patient right now. You bring her here right now. And I mean, right the frick now. And so that's exactly what he did. Threw her on a chopper and sent her right on down. They got her cleaned up. When they got her there, she still had on the same gown that she had on days before when they did the thoracentesis and failed. It was still bloodied. You know, it was still bloodied. The bandaging hadn't been changed. The chest tube that they put in, so like the thoracentesis was done down at the bottom of her back area, right? But the chest tube that they put in was like way up here for some reason. We still don't understand why, but the way that the doctor had put this chest tube in, the staff at the other hospital could not figure out, like they could not understand what was going on with this chest tube, because it was only held in place by one single stitch, or not even a single stitch. Sorry. It was held in place by her dried blood. So they hadn't even stitched it. So they've got this chest tube going down into the bottom part of her lungs, not even a stitch, right? It just gets crazier. It does. It gets crazier. So the nursing staff, trying to figure out what to do with this chest tube, finally figured out that it was some kind of method that was actually developed in Nazi frickin' Germany, and like done as a way to make it so that the chest tube is held in by dried blood as opposed to stitching, in the hopes that it prevents any kind of infections. What? Nazi Germany is where this technique came from. Like they had to look up translations to figure out what the chest tube was all about. So Anyways, my point is, through all of this, that like, you really have to be your own best advocate. Had we like really figured out what this colchicine drug was about, and like the fact that if you're hitting the diarrhea level, that you're hitting toxic levels of it, then we would have pushed harder to begin with for her to be taken off of it before she got to the point where it has almost completely destroyed her stomach. Like we don't know at this stage what to do. She's got to have an endoscope done, and she's got to have a colonoscopy done to try to figure out like what kind of damage is going on in there, because she has not recovered yet from having the runs. Like, she constantly has it, even to this point, 6 months later, almost. There's no reason why it should still be there, but it is. And it's all because of this one particular drug that they pushed on her that almost killed her. You got to be your own best advocate when it comes to anything medical and anything mental too, like psychiatrically speaking as well. You've got to be your own person, and do your own research to figure out what is best for you, because not everything is going to be best for you. Not everything is going to be the answer for you. You've got to figure it out. And that's what sucks, is that they're there for the purpose of trying to figure out what to do to make sure that you're better, right? Or at least allegedly. But they don't always have your best interests at heart either, Sometimes they have the best interests of that young lady that came in with the briefcase full of free drugs and perks, Sometimes that's who they have the best interest of. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. So anyways, I do hope everybody out there is having a good night. And I'm going to say I'm getting a little bit tired. My voice is getting a little bit tired, and I'm getting a little bit exhausted here. And I know that Ollie wanted to start streaming as well, so I wanted to make sure to go support them too. So I am going to go ahead and hop off of here for the evening. But before I do go, let me give you this little bit of dad advice for you guys, okay? This little bit of a dad moment for you all. Make sure you change your oil. If you're here in the United States, make sure you tip your wait staff, because they are working really hard. And if you don't, they don't really have anything to live on either. You gotta give them a little bit of support. And if you're in the UK, I know that they actually pay living wages over there. Imagine such a thing. But hey, S19, hey, you're showing up just as I'm getting ready to end the show, man. I'm sorry. It's kind of crazy. It's been a long night here, and I've been on for a few hours here, so I'm getting a little bit on the tired side. But it is so nice to see. I'm so glad that you're here, S19. How you doing? How's your day going over there? Okay, Iron Save. Thank you again for being here, brother. I appreciate it, and I hope that everything is going okay for you. Make sure you get some rest. You really need it. You really need it. Tell your family I said hey, okay? Right, exactly. It's been a long one. I was going to be on a lot earlier, and we had internet problems tonight, and I had to deal with the internet company kind of screwing us over like crazy. You just woke up. Go figure. Go figure. Well, I was going to say I know Ollie B is probably going to be streaming here in just a bit too. So make sure to go give them some support. And actually, I can go ahead and do that here right quick. So anyways, I do hope everybody out there is good and you're doing good, and you're having just the best day that you possibly can. And just don't forget, one way or the other, you are worthy of love, and I love you deeply. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you have a very, very good day. Thank you so much.
Incoming customer detected.
Keep your eyes open, boys.
We need to have a serious talk.